All right. Good evening. Welcome to Tesla FSD Beta 10.1.8. Already we have a problem, right? So I was hoping for a smooth drive. So what just happened there was flashing the yellows, right? The vehicle started slowing down. I had to accelerate out of it. And the way it was slowing down was a little too weird, almost like it was gonna stop. Did it stop? I don't know. I just accelerated out of it because that was the right answer. But yeah, so I just downloaded beta 10.8.1. And yeah, I mean it seems exactly like 10.8, you know, with that's what it seems like. Actually, I have nothing to say past that. They were able to the only change that I've noted, at least from watching other videos online, is that the disengagement counter has been reset. Not disengagement, the forced strikeout counter has been reset. So all that means is if you received a strikeout for not paying attention with the FSD beta, it's been reset to 0. I've also noticed that on the Model 3s, the amount of strikeouts you're allowed to get is 5, and on the Model S the amount of strikeouts you're allowed to get is 3. I personally don't know why. Actually, I would tell you that if I was to guess, it's because someone fat fingered or forgot to change it on the Model S code base. That would be my guess. But doesn't matter. I mean, the truth is you should be paying attention anyway. But yeah, so far so good. I like these types of drives because it's almost a demonstration of nighttime excellence. So what does that mean? How good is the software at night? I would tell you just recently, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes back, there was a car that was on the side with blinking lights, and the beta started to slow down, right? So the speed limit was 40. I set it to 40, and the vehicle was kind of regen braking into 39 and 38 miles per hour, which I thought was the right answer, right? Because what that gives us some trade space if something happens. The vehicle couldn't potentially react and mitigate an accident. So that was good to see. While we're going through this drive, I'm just gonna kind of have some thoughts regarding what's currently in the news in regards to Tesla. First thing, I just saw that the Model S has new matrix LED lights in the new builds. That is interesting because you buy a new car, right? You're like, all right, I'm good, I got everything, and then a couple months later, boom, new lights. A couple weeks later, boom, new design in the back or whatever. Obviously that stuff doesn't matter. If the lights work, the lights work. But I always wondered if matrix LEDs were part of the kind of the future software iteration for Tesla, where maybe the matrix LEDs would do some amazing things like beam forming for the high beams and stuff like that. Like I always have the auto high beams on, so imagine if with the matrix LED you could beam form. That would be awesome. And not blind the car in front of you. So I obviously don't have matrix LEDs. I've read about some of the capabilities, so if it becomes a retrofit, I might buy it and retrofit it in this vehicle. But yeah, this car is like it's like one of those, it feels like I'm driving a spaceship. Especially more recently, I saw some videos of like kits from Knight Rider, and I've seen side-by-sides with the yoke, and it feels like I'm there, but it feels a little bit better because I have a full like touchscreen display that's customizable and changes all the time, so I cannot complain. Again, lane management though is amazing. Yeah, this is good. Other interesting topics. So apparently California wants to potentially force Tesla to designate their vehicles as fully autonomous. And I think they want them to do that so that they can better track. Sorry, it will force Tesla to inherently report issues during the beta evaluation. I personally believe that is a dangerous correction. No, it might be. I will consider it almost a setback, because I think if that was to happen, that might cause regulatory issues for Tesla as a company and potentially for some of the beta testers. So I know there's some somewhat stringent requirements to have those, beta testers, and what Tesla is doing, which I think is a way to do it, is they are scaling the software updates based upon, a drive-in assessment, which I don't know if I agree with that assessment, right? Because when the scoring system was released, I wasn't doing too good. I think I was at 97, so I had to learn how to get the best score, which at the time, the best way to get the best score is to just enable autopilot. So that's what I did, and just let autopilot drive for the majority of my drives, and that kind of worked out for me.
Now turn left onto White
But
House
yeah,
Road.
I think that the regulatory aspect of designating the vehicles as fully autonomous, I think, is not the right answer, especially with the current beta. Maybe over time, but not now. Okay, so I have to make a pretty significant left turn. Let's see what happens, right? Because at night you can't really see the lane lines until the light flashes there, and it actually did pretty good. So bravo. Excellent. So after maybe a couple of miles up, we're gonna see some roundabouts, and I think that these roundabouts are my favorite roundabouts. It'll be interesting to see if something has changed in regards to how the software handles these roundabouts. Personally, I kind of doubt it, only because, again, the beta feels the same, or it's reached a state of performance where it's starting to get a little bit hard to tell the difference, except for certain key indicators, right? So one of the indicators of what we saw in the beginning of this video, where the vehicle started slowing down almost to a stop for a flashing yellow light, which I personally was not a fan of. Yeah, but at night, again, as long as the lights are flashing, it does. Well, I see the lights. As long as the lights are on, right? So you're either your high beams or low beams. It does pretty good. I'm pretty impressed. I think the visualizations are smooth. Control and actuation is smooth. Nothing crazy. Yeah, that was a pothole, and the vehicle essentially just went over the pothole. I wish in the code, or in the visualizations at least, it would show you the pothole, and then, maybe do some control action around it or something. That was once a discussion point that people had asked for Tesla, is to do pothole detection and potentially control around the potholes. Maybe to save the tires, or even to detect the pothole and then report it to the state. Which, if that was to happen, I wonder if the state would have to pay Tesla to report these potholes, right? As a, as a public service that the state's supposed to do, or state or local, governance authorities are supposed to do. That'll be interesting. Case study or business case, because obviously that might be a new direct revenue model, right? Is I detected and geotagged X or Y amount of potholes, right?
1,000 feet, enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
Okay, here comes the first roundabout. So this first roundabout is pretty smooth. Where I usually have seen friction is tied to how long the vehicle waits at times for another, for vehicles to go through the circle. And not only that, but also how fast, like what's the acceleration looks like in the circle is the other problem, right? If it's too slow, I think it just annoys not only the drivers behind you, but other drivers that might be potentially navigating through the circle itself. Okay, so it yields. It's going. It's kind of not going. There's a car right next to me. I'm just kind of guiding the wheel or the yoke, not the wheel. And boom, good job. Okay, so just because of how that actuation looked like just now, I doubt that. I don't think it's gonna do well on the second
In 500
circle.
feet, enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
But let's see.
Now enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
Yes. Okay, so for the second exit, slow creep. Wide indicated is kind of interesting as far as the directionality, but it accelerates through. It accelerates through. Oh, I just took over because of the car situation next to me. But that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. But yeah, this one always creates friction because the lane lines disappear on that circle. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you initial drive. As you can see, it's pretty good, pretty solid new beta. I think that yeah, some of the light mechanics and some of the roundabout mechanics are probably what need some love over time. But not bad. Not a bad beta. It's not like, doesn't feel like a significant set of steps were taken. It just feels like the same, actually. The same as 10.8. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this first drive. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Bye.